When's the last time keeping it real went wrong for you? On today's show, part two of our fascinating conversation with Khalil Blakey, host of The Real with Khalil, a podcast on YouTube where he has real conversations and works towards uplifting us all. So join us for part two of our conversation. Next up on Mama We Made It with DJ Reg. I'm curious, The Real with Khalil. You got any examples of when keeping it real went wrong for you? That you can say on wax?
I mean, I can say it, man. I can say it. I'm a nice person. I'll say that. I preface it by saying that. I'm a nice guy. I'm real peaceful. You know, I want to joke around more than anything. Now, I want to throw jabs, but I want them to be verbal.
Sure.
I want to joust with you verbally because I feel like I'm just going to say this as raw as I can. I'm bigger, stronger, faster, smarter. I'll outrun you and kick your ass, and I'll outwit you. Right? So I'd rather go outwit first. Let's go outwit. Because these are physical traits, and everyone expects me to be physically talented based on my history in athletics. But no one's expecting me to be like, I have a master's degree, and I will out-talk your ass and out-fact your ass every time.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where I feel like, let me just preface it by that. I got arrested in Orlando. I got arrested in Orlando for there was this. I didn't know how segregated Orlando was. I had no clue. None. I'm down there for a top performers event or my corporate job, and the bar has a rule of no phones on the bar top on the bar. Right. So if you go up to the bar to order something, you can't put your phone down. Which that seems like an odd rule because you just naturally put your phone down, if you possibly, and then order. So I did it once, and the bartender grabbed it. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." She was like, "They'll take your phone if you put it up here again." The sign's all over, but I'm in a bar. It's not my normal connection, right? So I do it again. I turn around and ask my buddy, "What's he want?" I turn back around, my phone's gone. She's like, "I told you someone's gonna take your phone." So I'm like, "Please give me my phone." I said, "I'll leave." I'm asking, begging, I'm like, "Please just give me my phone back. I'll leave. My apologies. I understand it was a rule. No big deal." She was like, "You got to talk to the bouncers." And I was like, "Okay." So I talked to the bouncers. I see the bouncers. I'm thinking, "Oh, they black. They probably just gonna give my phone back. No big deal." So then they're like, "Nah, you can't get your phone back." I'm like, "Well, who's the manager? Like, who's your boss?" And I look over. He's not black. And so he's like, "You're not getting your phone back. Get out of here." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Come on, man, just give my phone back. Like, I just want to go home. I'm down here from a top performers event. Listen. I just want my phone. I'd happily leave. No problem. No problem." And then I'll give you my phone. So yeah. So dude's like, "You got to get out of here, blah, blah." So he grabs me. He hit me the principal arm. Like, like the principal, like, "Hey, get your arms off me." And then from that point on, it was, I was still about 270 at the time, too. So I was just, I was in jail for 24 hours and assault. And they were like, "Yeah, you could go." But it wasn't fun, because them boys down south, they got gold in their mouth. I don't know what they're saying. Their slang is weird. I'm in there. I don't know what's going on. I'm a nice guy by nature, like, and so yeah, keeping it real. Yeah, I probably should just left.
Did you get your phone back?
I got my phone back. And also got $5,500 in legal fees and everything else. So, lesson learned. But I'm a nice person. Just don't be a dick, and I won't be a dick back. That's it.
Right.
Really, that's simple.
I lived in Orlando. I also have a story of being arrested in Orlando. It's a weird place, man. It's a weird place. No disrespect to anybody from Orlando. I'm sure there's a beautiful part of it. Mm-hmm. It was a space of deep provinciality. Like the white folks were on something different, and the black folks were on something different. And I never found my lane. My boys were in school down there, and it was probably 2 years before Trayvon Martin, and we lived out in Lake Mary, nearby where Trayvon met his fateful end. And I couldn't get out of there fast enough, man. But it is just a weird Twilight Zone existence that doesn't really know how to process confident, assertive black men. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, that's perfectly said. And I that's a great bow for me to put on that because it still haunts me sometimes. So,
So Khalil, when you say lesson learned, as you sit here today, what would you say was the lesson learned from that instance?
I think having some awareness of where I was. One, I could have lost my job. You know, I was down there
Yeah.
for a top performers
Right.
event. Like they flew me down there to be like, "Yay, we're honoring you." It was this platinum award that I got for top sales and retention, something like that. And so I could have lost my job. I could have lost my life all over a phone. I was like, bro, like you should just leave. Like let
Just go.
and you know and when I got arrested, man, it was the crazy part about it. DJ was that the cops pulled me. You know, they put me in a car. I've never been in the back of a car, and they're like, you know, we could drop you off somewhere and they'll never find you. And I was like, oh, let me just shut the hell up. You know, um, it was just one of those things, man, where I just figured like, you know, bro, patience is such a big deal, and
Hmm.
grace, not just for yourself but for others, is such a big deal. I went to the Henry this past week.
Hmm.
You know, the Henry is a restaurant here, Reg,
Hmm.
and you know, it's not a lot of us in there. And I was with one of my mentors, and this lady looked me up and down like several times. Right
Hey,
now,
Khalil, can I ask which one? Was it the Biltmore one or the one
the
over in
Biltmore,
Central Phoenix? Okay, got it.
Biltmore. And so she looked me up and down once. I'm thinking, okay, look her down again, look her down again. And I was like, so now what's clicking in is like, I don't care who you are, race, color, creed, 9 or 99. I'm gonna say something to you, right? So I'm like, you see something you want to say or something you like? And my mentor
Oh my
starts laughing
God.
because he knows like, oh, he's about to. She was like, oh no, I was just looking at your water bottle. And I was like, okay. She was like, yeah, my son needs one of those. I was like, oh, okay, great, have a good one. But that kicks in, man, and I have to be mindful of which one shows because Camden will show up, but Camden doesn't need to show up all the time. It's like my little boy is Camden, the insecure, unsure, I should fight before you hurt me shows up, and that's not my greatest part. The other part of me is like, bro, it's fine. This is a woman. Like she can't do anything to you. She's not gonna hurt you.
Yes.
So I have to be mindful of which one shows up, but they both play well because they're both needed in this world. Like you gotta let know people like, oh, I'm nice and I'm awesome, polished, and I also will kick your ass. Like those things have to, I think, kind of be there just so people understand. At least in my world.
You know, I'm telling you, man, it's I can 100% understand where you're coming from with that. Sometimes it just doesn't take much. Um, I will spare the instances and examples, but what I will say is I look at my brother Reg, who I've known for a really long time, and I know there's St. Louis in there.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me there's Camden in there. There's definitely
Mm-hmm.
College Park, Georgia in here,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that to be big boy or chest out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll be also honest with you. I don't want to lose it, but I do have to understand the dimmer switch around it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm better at that every day, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, it's easy to feel like you're being tested. It's just easy to feel like you're being tested. So,
I'd agree.
Rich.
It's just funny you say that, man, and it's true. It's so true, and I'm reflecting on. You know, earlier you were talking about your gratitude practice, and it's a thing that I've been working on diligently for probably the last 5 years. Is just trying to not disconnect my ignition switch, but I'm definitely trying to be much slower on pulling the trigger. Right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to be
Mm-hmm.
really really patient because first and foremost, it affects my health.
Yes.
Right. So I like a lot of brothers deal with hypertension and I know that when I get quickly agitated, I can feel it. I can feel the tinnitus in my ear. I
Mm-hmm.
can feel the symptoms of high blood pressure and
Mm-hmm.
hypertension, and I have learned to refuse to give that power of control to other people.
There you
Mm-hmm.
go.
And there
Yep.
are things that I used to perceive as slights that are irrelevant to me now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to hone my eye of discernment to be able to anticipate a few moves out, things that are going to trigger me, and find the right way to move myself from that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a daily experience. And it's, for me, I've learned it most through my sons,
Mm-hmm.
and not necessarily with my interaction with them, but protecting them, right? And the things
Mm-hmm.
that
Right.
happen around them that simply can't be tolerated. But there has to be a commitment for being there for them for the long term that has changed my demeanor in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
situations that would have been triggering in the past.
Mm-hmm. Everything you said, man. I think
Yeah.
I went to Europe for a month, uh, and my buddy said, "Why you react that way? Or when people look at you?" And I was like, 'cause I don't know what they're staring at. You know, when someone stares at you, you're not really sure what they're staring at you for, especially if they prolonged look. And I understand that other countries will just stare at you. Like
Yeah.
it's not like a weird thing for them to just.
They do.
And so
It can
you
happen.
like, I take it as like, are you threatening me? Are you trying to size? Like, what are you doing? You know, and my buddy's like, Khalil, you're 6'3", 200 plus pounds. You don't look like anyone else here. People could just be admiring you. Have you thought about that? And I was like, oh. And my mentor said to me, you know, I used to drive a Range Rover and all that. And you valet your car, and people go, oh man, who do you play for? And it would make me so angry and so bitter. And so my mentor, the one I was at the Henry with, said, do you think anyone asked me, do I play sports? And I was like, no. He was like, why do you think they don't ask me? I was like, because you're a white guy. He's like, no, because I don't look like an athlete. He's like, you're an athlete. You just aren't playing right now. Like, sometimes, Khalil, it's not disrespect. Some people are enamored just with the fact that you are a big man. But I was like, why does it have to be brawn that got me to this point? How come it can't be brains? Like, that was the thing I was more fighting, was the like polarization of, for you to live in this neighborhood and drive this car, you must crack heads for a living or shoot a ball. It's like, no, I'm just smart. And so that was the thing I think I was fighting with as well. And that was an internal thing. It had really nothing to do with the
Right.
external, because I was classified young. And so my brain is always thinking, you think I'm stupid, you think I'm stupid, you think I'm stupid. And I'm still fighting that 6-year-old that was classified with a learning disability. And so I'm not even fighting the person that's saying it. I'm fighting me, who thinks less of myself from being classified, still wearing a scarlet letter that I don't even wear anymore. Like, you know, so yeah.
So Khalil, man, that what you just said at the end is, to me, the gem in all of that is that a lot of this comes back to our own childhood, man. It really does. And we're not going to get into a whole session here, but I'm really glad you brought that up, because I do think it's a bit of a signal for all of us, man, just to think about the way we react today. I know I do it all the time, man. I can probably go back to childhood, man. It's something that happened, something I haven't resolved, whatever it might be. And the minute we start to do that, man, I think the better we all are. I'm really glad you took it all the way back there.
Yeah.
Question for you, brother. Finish this sentence for me, if you would be so kind. The sun shines brightest on those who what?
I would say rise to it. I think that's rising anything, rising to the occasion, rising in the morning, rising in your awareness, rising in your gratitude practice. You know, rising. Like, you know, I think the plants reach for the sun for a reason, right? And there's a book by Stephen Pressfield called The War of Art, and he said, could you believe that every person's walking around with a inner God or a God above them saying, grow, grow, grow? He goes, in every blade of grass has the same thing saying, grow, grow. And over the human race, there's something saying, evolve, evolve. So I believe the person that wants to evolve is the one that stands out and gets the sun to shine brightest on them, because, you know, what you want to call it, but I believe, you know, humanity's, my role on the planet is to inch humanity one step closer back to God. And I don't mean that in a religious way at all. If we're here to help each other, then I think the ones that are evolving are the ones that the sun shines the brightest on.
Dig it, dig. How do you think about legacy? What does it mean to you, and what do you want yours to be as you know, think about the road ahead?
You know, I really want to be a father, Reg. It's something I really want to do. I never wanted to be a baby daddy. And no disrespect to anybody who was a baby daddy. I understand that's your role. And so it just wasn't my thing to pick. And so legacy for me, I think, really comes in a sense of, like, I really think that passing on the knowledge, the wisdom, the triumphs, and setbacks will be big, not just for my ego, because I'm aware that there's a level of that, of like, I want to live on, but also for like, I don't, how do I say this? There's a lot of work and laps that I've run in life that I feel like the baton should be passed to someone to be able to have a leg up moving forward. So legacy to me is run your race as far as you can and then pass it on to somebody else, because that's all you can do. But I hope the legacy of myself is someone that was kind and sweet and funny, and people, you know, love to be around. And I hope people know that my goal was to leave them better than I found them. That's what my legacy would be.
Dig it, dig it.
So, Khalil, Reg and I are, we'll call it maybe a generation, half generation ahead of you, however people want to look at that. I want to open it up for you to ask Reg and I any questions you may have of us. Not that we think we're that important, but
I have questions.
Okay, we like this to be a conversation, so I would just say shoot, man. We're open
Yeah.
to it.
From where you guys come from, okay, respectfully, College Park in St. Louis, right? What do you think was the difference between, because you know some people that got cooked in a stoop
Hmm.
where you're from, have similar circumstances. Now we don't know what people have in people's houses or mindsets, but what do you think was the defiant difference between you traversing the path that you had, obviously uniquely yours, to be able to get to where you are now, right? Like I'm sure that
Hmm.
we are all in circles and places that many of us we won't see a lot of faces that look like us often, right? So what got you there? And I don't mean that as like you made it because you made it in any circles. I mean you made it
Right.
because you made it. You fulfilled a life that wasn't less than what you could become.
Right.
Reg, respectfully.
And this is not in a comparative sense, right? Because I know people whose parents were phenomenal and they were warm families and things went left for a variety of reasons. But I
Hmm.
start with I had amazing parents.
Hmm.
I'm the youngest of five. My parents were divorced when I was about 5 years old.
Hmm.
My brothers and sisters are quite a bit older than me, and I grew up with parents who were, though divorced, committed to my development in a way that was liberating and not constraining. Right, so
Hmm.
they poured into me with a sense of wonder and expectant hope. I was raised in a community that was culturally rich. Blackness was, a rich stew, and so church, Sunday school, vacation Bible school, teachers at school, there was a richness that in the moving from Michigan, where I was born, to St. Louis in my early age, and all around my cousins. I come from a big family, a lot of cousins. It was just a rich, rich foundation. So I had a strong foundation to start. And then I moved a lot as a kid. And there's something in the being the new kid over and over and over that creates a certain amount of transitional fluidity that you're able to adapt to new circumstances. It doesn't after a while shake you as it relates to being the new kid. It's awkward in
Hmm.
the teen years, but by the time you get an adult, it's a superpower to adapt to new environments. That's in there. um I have had amazing loves in my life. And so there are women in my life who I would not be here were it not for them. And I am blessed to have two amazing wives, one who died from breast cancer young, mother of my children, one who now I met as a friend. We fell in love, and she is, my ride or die. And so I'm grateful for the people that have been on my journey, that have shaped me, that have pulled me away from the weaker parts of myself and shown me a confidence that I'm not sure would have been there without them. And then lastly, I'll say brothers like DJ, like, being blessed with beyond amazing siblings, brothers of choice who are, for whatever reason, willing to open up and let me in their world and I can learn from them. To your point earlier, in order to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. You have to be willing to subscribe to I don't know what's going on. And that includes everybody in my life up to my faith in terms of
Hmm.
a certain amount of humility. So it's all in there, but I start with two amazing parents who believed in me at a very early age.
I appreciate that share, Rich.
Yeah.
And right back at you, Reg. I think, I kind of jumped to this point in life, Khalil. The ability to choose my circle is everything to me. And now that you're becoming more a part of that, man, I feel blessed. I've been blessed with Reg since college. We all have Jersey in common. That's where Reg and I, like I'd say, really connected. Ended up living about 15 minutes from each other after undergrad, and it's
Yeah.
never been the same. It's been an incredible ride with Reg. As a kid, man, I'll be brief. You described it to a T for me. My mom and I, through sixth grade, and my mom had me at 17, and my grandmother 7th through 12th. So for 2 weeks, I had a man in the house. My mom and dad tried to reconcile back in Columbus, Ohio in third grade. That didn't work. We ended up back in Georgia.
Mm.
Every summer in Michigan, though. So that's where my foundation was built and laid and reinforced. But then I'd end up going back to, call it Teaneck, New Jersey, Yonkers, New York, College Park, Georgia, and I'm trying to figure shit out. Oftentimes on my own. Now, I had the greatest mom in the world, but she was 17 when she had me at the same time. So for me, Khalil, when I had to make decisions, adult decisions as a kid, yeah, you can run fast, but you can't run now. There's 3 of them. There's 2 of them. You don't have a big brother. You don't have a dad. You got to knuckle up. You got to deal with it. You learn fast and you learn early. And you learn what your skills are. You learn what your competencies are. And I wouldn't trade anything. There were times I was like, man, I don't feel like walking home. And I don't really tell these stories, man, but I had a long walk home. I had the longest walk home out of all the kids. And there were times I dreaded it. You know, you had your bullies, big brothers, little brothers. You learn how to work through that. And sometimes you just got to do it once. Take a couple knuckles, whatever it might be. But then you get a couple in, you start to learn what you're good at. And the only thing I'll say about this story, man, is once you find that it's empowering and you build a confidence that sticks with life. So for me, man, it was those early adult type experiences as a kid where there was nobody to fall back on, brother. I mean, I could tell my mom the stories when she got home, but she was like, sound like you handled your business. So that's what it was, bro.
So you would say like the ability to like recognize that you can be that you can make it through anything was your
100%.
Yeah.
And again, my family foundation is incredible, man. Grandmother, mom. To this day, my mom and I are extremely close. We've had our peaks and valleys, but we are very close. But from her and my grandmother, I feel like I can get through anything.
Yeah. I feel like that's the common thread between all 3 of them.
Yes.
A super loving home. You know, I think when you are, you can be defiant outside if you are loved inside, I think. Like, you're not proving nothing to anybody. Like, you're like, I'm going home. Like, and so when you, for me anyway, I was just speaking from my experience, you guys relate to it, and it makes sense, but it's like, I felt so loved at home. You know, I felt so like loved in the house. It just was when I was outside, it was like, this is some wildness, but I knew I could have, you know, like freeze tag. I had base, you know, and I could always come back to base, including my mom, my cousins, my aunts. So it was like, well, I know it's going to be wild outside, but at least I can come back. And my mom has always been, you know, very steady. Didn't want to, you know, she didn't want us moving around a lot. She wanted to have stability. And so, yeah, I think we all have that same thing. A loving home is it seems like the big one. And I think family is one of the biggest things reason I desire that is because it's like, well, the family is almost like the ultimate production of what do you produce, right? It's like what kind of product you putting out in the street. You're a good
That's your
family.
product.
Yeah, it'll be a product. So that's why I think I want to put a good product out in the street.
Yeah. Dig it.
I know we're probably close, Reg, but anything else, Khalil?
Go ahead.
No, I was
Anything? You got something funny you want to ask us? It sounds
you know, I just think, you know, like it's just one of those things where you meet people and you just don't know. I don't know. I didn't have any expectations of today, but I'm so grateful and I love the fact I didn't have any expectations of today. It's beautiful to have that like surprise. I feel like sometimes if I have expectations, it would be like, oh, this is not as good as I thought it was gonna be. It's like just let it be. You know, I think that's probably one of the biggest things to be able to just come in this and be with 2 men that I get to grow a relationship with. I think it's awesome.
I'm looking forward to getting down there and chopping it up with you, man, in person. Next time I see a trip on the schedule to come check out DJ, we have to get together.
Yes.
I'll be honored.
Yeah. Well, everybody, that is the one and only Khalil Blakey. This is Mama We Made It with DJ and Reg. As always, that's DJ. I'm Reg. We do this thing once a week on Wednesdays. Thank you for joining us today for a fascinating conversation. Check us out on YouTube or wherever you get your favorite podcast. Subscribe, like, rate, and review the show. Let us know what you think on your journey to flourishing, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Mama.